Government orchestration of commercial channels is primarily conducted through direct political contacts and perhaps through the ASIO. But sometimes the ABC is heavily engaged too. A number of established techniques have been employed, with one of the most obvious being the use of its Media Watch broadcast. In May 2005, when the public had directly viewed the reality of the Schapelle Corby case for themselves, almost the whole of the Media Watch broadcast was dedicated to an assault on the commercial media. It made a range of staggering allegations against them, including being bought, feeding xenophobia, and slavishly following public opinion in supporting Schapelle Corby. It even defended the foreign system, which had so clearly abused Schapelle Corby's human rights. The message to the commercial media could not have been more clear. The requisite nature of future reporting could not have been more clearly indicated. This broadcast sent the same message to the ABC's own staff, whilst the position of the ABC board itself was starkly indicated by a column from board member Janet Albrechtsen in a national newspaper. She defended the Indonesian regime and even wrote of Australians, quote, overdosing on compassion, unquote, in a shockingly hostile article. Janet Albrechtsen had been appointed to the ABC board just a matter of weeks earlier by Australian Prime Minister John Howard. Another tried and trusted method to influence opinion is through humor and entertainment. The ABC were not slow to exploit this, using a variety of productions to embed subliminal acceptance of key messages. This has often involved direct ridicule of Schapelle Corby's family under cover of comedy and subtle references to create an impression of guilt and well-being. Examples abound, and even the internet is not sacred, with foul depictions of Schapelle Corby herself in banners and similar.
Today, tonight are on Jodie's side.
And the current affair are on Mercedes' side.
And to represent these two, we've chosen these cheap, dim-witted dogs. So after all that, what is the verdict? Well, they're both infuriating bogans.
Queen of the bogans.
And the last image was Schapelle Corby thinking about what her postal vote would be.
The biggest problem was when she got the Senate paper, she tried to make a rollie. Bag of weed. Okay, 4 kilo bag of weed.
Number 2, how can we make Schapelle Corby feel better?
Oh, is she a bit blue?
She is. She wants to come home. The Prime Minister should be helping. He's not.
She is in prison. That does go with the territory, doesn't it?
That is true.
Maybe we could smuggle in a bong.
Schapelle Corby's not feeling so great.
You've got a strong voice there, Jim. She's weak, she's depressed. Who would have thought that she'd be depressed in a Balinese jail? Who would have thought?
She'll be able to get back to her smuggling job a lot sooner. Schapelle is laughing, not because of the reduction. She just does that a lot lately.
A common method to influence public opinion is, of course, through news management. At the ABC, this has involved extremely hostile and aggressive interviewing of Schapelle Corby's family.
While I have you on the phone, though, can I just get some of your other stories have been really factually wrong.
I just don't believe you at all.
I think you're just letting them say whatever they like without investigating. And it's really damaging.
I just don't believe you for a second. I think you're a liar.
Well, Schapelle...
At the end of the
Schapelle is in her final appeal, and things like this that are wrong...
Yeah, and you guys are all lying. At the end of the day, you know, you're just lying. And,
Excuse me?
And ultimately, you guys are responsible for her situation.
Excuse me, how dare you?
And intrusive research into her dying father under cover of other stories.
The failed attempts to taint Schapelle Corby's dying father with drug association were relentless and grossly intrusive. Here a reporter suggests that he is merely researching Mr. Corby for a piece on the Navy.
Despite using these appalling methods, they uncovered nothing of substance, yet they still broadcast false allegations and smears and presented them as fact.
This is possibly one of the most extreme pieces of propaganda, one of the most outrageous pieces of propaganda ever put forth in my experience. And I've investigated a lot of things. I've looked at 9/11, I've looked at the JFK assassinations, I've looked at the Port Arthur massacres and a lot of different things. This really tops the lot.
Having inflicted the damage, the ABC were eventually forced to apologize, but in a wholly inadequate and obscure slot.
Last month, Lateline aired a story containing new evidence suggesting that Schapelle Corby's father, the late Michael Corby Sr., was involved in the drug trade. That story should have made it clear that these were allegations, not facts, and for that we apologise. The story has now been amended to make it accurate, and you can see the corrected version on our website.
This was entirely ineffective in reversing the substantial negative impact on public perception and consequential damage to Schapelle Corby.
In Australia, dead men cannot sue. When Schapelle Corby's father died of cancer in January 2008, it opened the door to exploitation and fabrication on an unprecedented scale. Yet, every paid-for allegation, without exception, has been disproved. Even though the smears have been exposed, much of the Australian media continues to present them as credible. Australian corporations and individuals continue to derive substantial revenue from spinning them. Large numbers of the Australian public blindly accept the lies as truth.
First, the conspiracy to ruin Schapelle and Mercedes Corby.
And a TV program prepared to pay a small fortune for the privilege.
It may be just showbiz and ratings again for Today Tonight, but it's real people they hurt.
The Seven Network has been judge, jury and executioner, potentially damaging not only Schapelle's legal defences and future hopes for clemency, but defaming her sister Mercedes. After 4 weeks of hearings, Channel 7 and Today Tonight's outrageous claims have been exposed for what they are. A desperate grab for ratings at the expense of truth.
I really hope that in future, Today Tonight, think hard before broadcasting attacks and lies about somebody.
Never seen them smoke a joint?
No.
Never seen them have dope in their house?
No. The godmother of my son. I trust her. I love the girl. She's beautiful. The whole Corby family. They're a beautiful family. For Jodie to do this, it's not good.
Did Today Tonight then embark on a vendetta against the Corbys? Just a couple of months after the first interview, they lured Mercedes to a confrontation with Jodie and reporter Seymour. Their bait on this occasion was an outright lie. Despicably, the investigator hired by Seven claimed they'd obtained useful documents from a government official who had died in the Garuda air disaster. While the muckraking continued in Australia, in Bali, Schapelle remained in jail.
Don't you feel you're being totally ridiculous with those stories?
Not at all.
How do you feel?
They reported something on the 6 o'clock show, whatever, on the drive show, whatever it is, on the evening of on the ABC, and they did a rebuttal on it at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, really?
They apologised for their story at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Is that when they broadcast the apology?
That's when they broadcast an apology. Yeah, one such apology. I forget exactly.
Oh my God.
The what they said, but they said it at 6 o'clock at night, and then they broadcast their apology at 4 in the morning.
In 2011, the private investigator contracted by Australian television networks on the Schapelle Corby case broke his silence.
It is, and I believe that he was paid by several others as well. But they don't always pay directly. Quite often the payments are made via third parties, i.e. someone like ourselves. You know, we're instructed to make the payments.
Yeah.
And all of the networks were happy to throw lots
of money at it, yeah.
Oh, anything to do with the name Corby. But once again, we investigated that, spoke to many people, and there was no link between Macaulay and any of the Corbys whatsoever. Phone records were checked, dating back 8 years, and there is no way that Macaulay knew the Corbys. He's just lying. But none of them went anywhere. Not one single one. And we followed all of these.
Yeah, and you guys were actually wanted as much dirt as you possibly could rake up on the Corbys, yet you still didn't strike pay dirt, as you would say.
Exactly.
When they were filming the Corbys, did they ever find anything that suggests the Corbys were involved in drug smuggling in their covert operations?
No, never.
Never?
Never. Never. There was nothing, and there was never one shred of evidence that ever came out that pointed us in the direction of drugs, Corbys, ever.
You're telling me that you told the television station that Kim was telling lies, and they chose to ignore your advice and still ran with the story?
That's correct, yes. I went into quite a bit of detail, and that was disregarded. I did caution them. I told them that Kim was telling lies. I was encouraged to forget that.
How did you feel about that?
Well, it compromises us to the people that we work with. All of a sudden they're saying, well, don't do your investigation properly, tell lies.
And the hardest part with all these lies that they are telling is getting the media to print the truth. Why do you think they don't want to expose them? Is it because they actually created them?
Look, that's a fair point. That is a fair statement, actually. I hadn't looked at it like that, because they've actually created them.
And more.
Other direct witnesses told similar stories, including Jade, who courageously refused to lie when she was subjected to extreme emotional pressure.
But what makes me so angry, she got money for this.
Yeah. Do you know how much she got paid? Did she ever let on how much she got paid for these
I
lies
think
she
she
told?
might have been paid about, all told, $60,000 or something.
She did get paid.
I know she got paid, yeah, she told me.
So she actually said to you, if you lie for me, you're going to get a lot of money.
Yep, I'll get lots of money and this will help strengthen my case to get my son back.
Did you wonder how telling lies would actually get your son back? Correct me if I'm wrong here.
Yeah.
If you lied and said that your ex-partner was a drug runner, then he would be unfit to be the parent of the...
That's correct.
And then he would have been maybe charged, and then you would have got custody. Is that the emotional game they were playing?
Yes.
So that's the correct. That is what they used as a bargaining chip for you.
Yeah, basically, yep, that was it. I wasn't going to, love. It didn't matter. Like I said, I love my son. I miss my son. I went through 2 years of hell for fighting with him only to lose the custody, hearing and everything, you know what? And as I said, I had 1,000,001 reasons to lie, but I wasn't going to. That wasn't the way to go about it.
Yeah, what, destroy somebody else's life to get your own life?
That's exactly right. That's exactly